Hey, what is going on today, guys and gals? In today's video, I will be covering a melee-only guide to completing Testing Station 89, otherwise known as the Radiation Lab. In this video, I'll be going through the armor, weapons, techniques, abilities, and passes we'll be using to clear this lab, as well as giving you some tips and tricks on how to take down the boss efficiently with only a melee weapon. Let's get right into it. Starting off, let's go through our loadout over here as far as our equipment and weapons setup. So we're going to be using the replica pulse sword today. This is going to be triple augmented. I know you can only see two of the augments currently on my weapon, but I assure you there's three. I don't have the crafting level unlocked to show you the third augment on this character, but if you have a buddy who can put a third augment on it, I would highly recommend that. So that's how we get to about 1100 damage on our pulse sword. Now, I've seen people get as high as about 1400 or so if you get max stats on it. So just keep that in mind. You can get this a little bit higher if you have good rolls. As far as our other equipment, we're going to be bringing a stack of spiced liquor. If we're going to be running this multiple times to stay spiced up on every encounter, we're going to be bringing some iodine pills. You're going to need a cut array to get through the doors in this lab. And then lastly, we're going to need needing a radiation suit. So the radiation suit, you have a couple different options. You're not allowed to put radiation fabrics on this thing to stack up the radiation mitigation, unfortunately. I tried it, don't worry. But you can put points into uh, getting its armor value up with garment reinforcement. You can also get the energy mitigation penalty that you have for the suit down as well, since the boss is going to be firing an energy weapon, and we want to increase our armor value if our shield does go down in the off chance that happens. So we can take an extra bullet or two, essentially, on the level we're going to be, practicing at today. So just keep that in mind, guys. And then I'm also rocking a Tier 6 Adaptive Holtzman Shield. If you haven't gotten one of these already, I'd highly recommend trying to farm for one in the deep desert. They're very good. We're rocking also a young Sparky. You can use the accelerator pack as well. I prefer the Sparky just given the regen per second is slightly higher than the accelerator pack. And for what we're doing, it's better to have that since we're going to be more mobile. So that's it for the armor and weapons. Let's move on to the abilities. For our abilities and techniques, guys, we're going to be using a couple different things for this encounter. For the lockout rooms, we're going to be using either knee charge or crippling strike. This one is a dealer's choice. I prefer using knee charge if I'm doing it solo, but if I'm doing it in a group, I'll usually use cripple strike in case there's multiple adds on me. I can get the AoE sweep on them. We're going to be using weirding step, given it's a gap closer. It provides a great stun for doing slow blades, but also a stun for some of the rangers that we're going to be fighting in the lockout rooms. So keep that on your bar as well. And lastly, we're going to be using Compel on our bar. This is the go-to ability to use for crowd controlling and moving both the boss and also the ads, so we can slow blade them or do heavy attacks on them without getting hit. It's really helpful for the lockout rooms when we want to take down the heavies and crowd control them. So you'll see that later in the video on its utility. As far as the techniques go, we have a flex option over here. You can either use Suspensor Dash, or if you feel like you're going to get hit too many times and your shield might go down, you can put on Conservation of Energy. This is going to give us effectively a 9% buffer on our effective shield HP for every attack that's going to happen to us, either for the logout rooms or for the boss. We're going to use this for the boss encounter. It's very good. It gives us to be lets us to be a little bit tankier. And we don't need the mobility in the boss fight as much. So we're going to also use Center of Mass, one of the best techniques in the game. We're also going to have Manipulate Instability on our bar. This is going to be good for both the lockout rooms and also the boss when we get them staggered. So it's going to just add more damage to us when we're going to do that. So, but those are the abilities and techniques. Let's go back to our specialization trees. Um, I have 100 combat and 100 sabotage. Now, for the level we're going to be clearing today, it might be a little bit overkill to have both of those. For a level 20, a level 15, you don't need to have 100 combat and 100 sabotage. You can have lower. It's just going to take a little bit longer to clear, but it's definitely doable. The reason why you'd want to max out combat first is the damage mitigation. Damage mitigation applies to both your shield and also your character's health. So that's one of the first things you want to prioritize if you are going to try and push the dungeons, guys. The sabotage is the nice icing on the cake because it's going to be giving us an extra 50% damage to staggered targets. So when we're swinging our heavy attack on an enemy and you see that they have the little stagger circle around them, that's going to give us that bonus damage, and that's going to start to add up. It's also really good for our slow blades, so you're going to see that also in the lockout rooms that we can one shot or two shot most enemies at this level that we're going to try out today. Going back to all of our passives over here and skills, uh, we have, like I mentioned before, leveled up Center of Mass. We have Field Maintenance level 3. We have Dispenser Dash. You don't necessarily need it, but you can put on Dispenser Efficiency as well, and also put points into Sugar Wire Claw if you're going to use this somewhere else besides the Radiation Lab. It can be helpful on lower levels too for mobility, so just keep that in mind. For the Mentat trees, we don't need to put anything into a lot of this stuff outside of Garment Keeper and also Source of Power. Now, if you guys haven't completed the capstone quests to unlock Source of Power, I'd heavily recommend doing that before you attempt to do this lab, as this ability will save our asses quite a few times if we have too many of the ads attacking us from different directions or the boss. So it's a really good life-saving ability, especially at the higher levels for the Radiation Lab if we're doing melee only. Even when we're doing a ranged build, it's helpful too. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to Planetologist, we're putting 3 points into Conservation of Energy, Overcharge, and Rerouting. Outside of that, guys, all of this stuff is optional. If you want to put points into Pilot, Driver, any of these, you could, put points in there as well based off of your play style. And now for Bene Gesserit trees, we're going to put points into Weirding Step, Manipulate Instability, Blade Damage, and we're also going to have Compel and Voice Training. And lastly on this, we're going to have points into Vitality, Poison Tolerance, Self-Healing, and recovery. Now, you don't necessarily need poison tolerance. I had this on for another build video where I was doing the poison lab. You don't need to have this. You can actually just take it off for the radiation lab if that's all you're doing, but it can be helpful if you're running other content. So on the Blademaster trees, we are going to be putting points into blade damage, retaliate, and actually, it's funny enough, I did not put points into this earlier when I was doing this video, so we were at a 15% damage differential. So we're also going to have points into confidence, solid stance. Optionally, you can have points into reckless lunge, but honestly, I think for radiation lab, it's not really necessary. So if you don't see yourself having your shield down a lot at a lower level while you're learning the boss fight or learning the lockout rooms, I wouldn't put points into reckless lunge. It's not really worth it for you. Um, Definitely put points into knee charge or cripple strike, depending on your play style and which one you want to use. Also put points into general conditioning, optimize hydration, and field medicine. And then lastly, we're also putting points into inspiration. That's it for the abilities and techniques, guys. Let's get right into doing a level 20 clear of the radiation lab. I would have footage of a level 40, but I'll be honest with you, doing it melee only is very sweaty. So we're going to be doing a recording for that video later this week, hopefully. But in the meantime, I'm doing a level 20 clear to demonstrate that this build is proficient, at least at that level.
Welcome to Imperial Testing Station number 89. I am Dr. Branza Highnote.
Shields up! someone! They're coming!
Now for the boss fight, guys, as you can see, I am equipping iodine pills, as well as making sure that I am spiced up. I'm switching my abilities for the boss fight, which is going to be conservation of energy for the technique switch. I'm going to be putting on inspiration, and I'm also going to be equipping source of power. And we're going to keep compel on the bar as well.
You won't stop us! Support me!
I've got your back.
Usually between phases, I'll try to clear the ads. Sometimes we're not always successful though, but at this level, it's best to clear the ads a little bit so they don't become overwhelming.
Damn your interference! I need covering fire! I'll do anything to end this war! I've got nothing to lose! He's up! You won't stop us! Support me! Let's open things up! Damn your interference! Pressing fire, now! I need help. I've got you covered.
And where it starts to get ridiculous, guys, is when you see a lot of these ads spawn trying to toss grenades. I try my best to just keep my stamina up and try to DPS the boss at this point, usually around the last two phases. If it becomes too overwhelming, just start popping Source of Power, or start clearing the ads a little bit and slow down the fight. With the iodine pill, you should be able to tank the radiation for a little bit longer, on level 20 at least. At level 40, obviously, it's going to be a different story, so just keep that in mind.
It's all for nothing.
If the boss is stuck too much in the radiation pool, I usually try to compel him to one of the corners, like I did right here. So it's another good strategy. You can also get out of line of sight for the grenades sometimes by doing that. So you take him to the corner.
Damn your heat! I'm out! Let's get the bastard! Suppressing fire, now!
And that's the fight, guys. It's a little bit harder with melee, as you can see, but it's definitely doable. And if you enjoy melee, this is the way to go. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like or subscribe. It really goes a long way to grow my channel and show that you guys care about this content. And if you don't like this content, please let me know what I can do better to improve upon it. But I also would love to know, do you like to use melee or range for this boss? And do you find radiation to be the hardest lab of the ones that are currently out? Or is there a harder one out there that's been giving you more trouble? Let me know in the comments, guys. Take care of yourself.